Afternoon and welcome to Pixie Studio live here on Facebook. Please excuse my voice this afternoon. I've got a bit of a cold, but that aside, everything should be as normal. So we have 4 projects for you this afternoon. We've got this one here, it's a stepper card, and that's using the Gemini Edgeables Christmas morning set. And then these 3 cards all use exactly the same die set, just in completely different ways. So we're going to start with the Edgeable, and then we'll do these 3 a little bit later. Okie dokie. Now, this is the die set that I am going to be using. You can see here that they've created a stepper card with colour, and you can absolutely do that. It comes with instructions on how to set it up for this way. I, however, have done it slightly different, and I will explain as I go along. I think sometimes with these dies you can be a bit off put because, oh, can I colour in? Well, I've shown you here, you can just do it in silhouette and it looks equally as fantastic. So the other dies we use is the Elizabeth Craft small poinsettia, just for a little decoration, and the sentiment is a Creative Expressions Festive Collection, Merry Christmas. Okay, so we'll put those to one side for the moment. I have already, here we go. I have already cut down my base card. So this is the length of an A4, and it's 7 inches wide. I have my measurements here, that's why I keep looking that way, just so I make sure I get this correct. So the length of an A4 sheet cut down to 7 inches wide. And then we're going to score. So we are going to score 3.5 inches here. And then I'm going to turn the thing the whole way around, and then we are going to score at 1 inch, at 2 inches, at 3.25, and at 4.5 here. Okay. So that's all of the scoring, and then we'll see how that folds up to make our card. So these 2 bits here are going to make this first stepper. So this needs to be folded this way in a mountain fold, and then we need to do a valley fold, and then another mountain fold. Excuse me. And then back that way for a valley fold. So those are our steppers at the front, and then this part folds over so that our card will stand up like so. Hopefully you can see that from the top. So we've got our steps at the front, and then our card so that it will stand a bit like a tent fold. So that's our base card done, and we can put that to one side for now. Our next job then is to cut the pieces that we need. So I'm just going to find, those are the dies. Now what you need to make sure is that you have a piece of card that is at least the width of this. Doesn't matter if it's bigger, but it needs to be at least the same width as the stepper card, so which was 7 inches. And these dies are actually 7 inches across. Now the way I've been cutting them is to make sure I have a fair bit of excess underneath. That way I can trim it. If you pre-cut it, and then you if you haven't got enough, then you're a bit stuck. So I always tend to cut this and then trim afterwards. So I'm going to take this down. Now I find also it's a good idea to not only tape, excuse me, not only tape on this part, but actually, because these little bits have a tendency to wiggle a bit, so I'm just going to put a little bit of tape. I say a little bit, that's rather a lot of tape, but you understand what I mean. I'm going to put a bit of tape there and a bit of tape there. Okay, now it's best to put these through one at a time to make sure you get even pressure along the dies, because it is much better to put these dies in this way rather than this way. It just puts more pressure into the smaller amount of points that it's got to cut. Okay, we're going to put our plastic and our magnetic and our top plate, and we're going to feed that through. You can emboss these. I'm not going to, just for the sake of time. There are some bits on the dies that we might even get through with this pressure, that will emboss. So for example, on this one, if I take it out, I can show you. There are some stars. Ooh, sorry, Gemini plate nearly went for a walk off the end of the table. There are some stars that that emboss the. Now that's interesting. That's because I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm sorry, my fuzzy head. I'm thinking, where have the stars gone? That's because they're not cut out. They're on here. They are embossed. If you can, and here as well, just might be able to catch that. You can put it through again if you want a deeper emboss, but for what we need with the silhouette, that's going to be enough. So I'm going to put this die to one side. I have already cut the other two, so that because it's exactly the same process, you need to make sure you have enough at the bottom and then you stick it down. So let me put that to one side. So I have already been ahead and cut the other two, so that you have the fireplace with the chair, you have the little boy with the parcels, and now we have the girl with the tree. So it's now a case of making sure you cut these to fit the steps. The fireplace is going to sit at the back, so I've cut that so that it will sit just proud of this step here. Now I know I'm showing you black on black, so bear with me one moment and I will put something in to help you. That's there. When I put the step on, it's just shy of the step here. And then our young lad is at the front, so he needs to fit completely on that step. And now we need to work out how we're going to cut this young lady, because obviously we don't want her right up there. So I'm going to just open this out, and then I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to mark it with my pencil just at the bottom here, so that we're going to cut to a depth of here so that she sits in. Now I shouldn't need to cut the width, because we cut our piece of card to 7 inches and the width of our card is 7 inches. So we're going to get our trimmer. And we are going to put it up at the top, find our little mark, make sure we're fairly level. She should now, out the way, she should now slot into that little bit there. Okay, so we've got all our silhouette parts cut out, but obviously we want to make them stand out. And so what I've used some Creative Expressions Foundations cream card. and I've used some foundations, rich red. Now you can, if you've got Christmas papers or papers that look like wallpaper or carpet, then you can use those as well. It doesn't matter. You can use whatever you like. So I have used the red. Bear with me a moment. Is it in the back of here? Oh, it's here. There we go. So I have cut some strips so that they fit onto here. Again, you might only have plain card. You could always run this through an embossing folder. No, that's not that one because that's too small. So this is the one for here. And then this will be the one for here. So we're going to stick those in a moment. Okay. And the other thing that we have is the piece of card to stick on the back. And I've cut it just smaller so we still get a nice black outline, so it gives it that contrast against the beautiful cream. So we're going to just stick these together. Bear with me. I'll see if my glue is working today. Oh yes, it looks like it's going to play today. Just looking to see what side I might have a pencil mark on, because I'm very good at putting the pencil mark face up. So that's one, and we're just going to stick that one on to there, and then we're going to stick this one on to here. Now, oh, I see, there you go, I've got pencil mark facing up. Let's just get my little rubber. These dies are obviously designed to be edgeables and to be used as a group, but you don't need to. And there will be a video that we recorded this morning going up on the website sometime next week that shows how to use, again using silhouettes, but how to use the little girl on her own to make a Christmas card, and how to use the little boy on his own to make a birthday card. So look out for that video if you're looking for an alternative way to use these dies. It's always great when you can use them in several ways. You need to stick this piece of background in. And I'm just going to put it there. Okay, now next thing we need to do is to slot these in. So these should just sit nicely. And as you can see, it means that we have, because we made them stand a little bit proud, and I don't think I did, then they're going to show, sorry, we made that one stand a little bit proud. This one, because it fits on that step and it's a bit higher than this step, it shows. Okay, so let's stick these ones in. You have to excuse, my brain is a little bit fuzzy today, along with my blocked nose. Oh, and an itch, that doesn't help either. Okay, so this one is going to slot into there, and that's going to stick back against the cream. Now, with the others, and I made this mistake when I did it the first time, you don't need to put any glue now on the girl or the tree. You only need to put glue here. This one, because it's stuck against the background, you did need glue, but this one's literally just glue on to this base strip, which is going to just slot in there. Okay, and same here, this one. Now, you're wondering about the measurements of those red strips. Well, this first one is an inch, because that's what we did our first score on. If you remember, we did 1 inch and 2 inches to make that first one, and then I think that one would then work out as 1 1/4 inches. Okay, for that one there. So, and then this one's just a little bit further up. You can measure that when you cut it. Okay, so that's our base card. And what we're going to do now is we're going to I've already cut the Merry Christmas because that's straightforward, but we're going to just whoops, I'm going to bring that down here. I've already cut the Merry Christmas, which we'll put on in a moment, but we're going to have a look at this poinsettia die and how to assemble that. Okay, so you will need to cut this a few times. Bear with me, I've just tipped up all my leaves, all in the bottom of my box. Doesn't help. You're going to need to cut it a few times, depending on how big you want your poinsettia. So the dies that come in this set, you've got the base, you've got 4 sort of graduated leaf sizes, and then you've got this tiny little one which creates all these little bits for the center. Now for here I've got 1 of the base in black and 2 I think in red, so I'm going to cut, I've already got 1 in red in there, so I'm going to cut another one in red. I've got my little bit of red card here, and I need some more of the leaves in red, so we'll just put these on as well. Okay, and then I'm going to cut, I need a tiny bit of this piece of card, some more of the little dots to put in the middle. I do have some cut, but they are great escape artists. There you go, you can see. So I'll cut a few more. Excuse me, I shouldn't look like that. It's only me touching it. They are a bit of an escape artist, so we're going to cut a few more just to make sure that we have enough. Okay, put you to one side, and we'll get the tape out again. Okay, if you do have any questions, please do type them into the comments, and Dean will have a look at them and we will see if we can get them answered. And even if you've got no questions, please just do say hi so we know that you're out there. It's always nice to know that somebody is watching. I do feel anyway like I'm talking just to Dean, but hopefully there's some of you out there listening or even watching it on a repeat. Okay, so we're going to put those onto our board. We need, oh, there's a little bit of a die cut there, our magnetic, and we need our top, and we're just going to run those through. Okay, now I'm going to tip those out. See, I've got our Merry Christmas already cut, and then we're going to have a look at how to assemble this. I think the thing with that poinsettia is not so much the assembling, it's cutting, and the thinner card you use. So if you've got some really nice, or even like papers, you can multi-cut these. Because I'm using the foundations card, it's a bit heavier, and it will just about, but it's pushing it to try and cut 2 layers at a time. And then I find assembling these quite therapeutic, really. Oh, where's Miss Pokey Tool? In there. I'm going to put those dies in there so I don't lose them. And that one out, that one out, and I'm going to put those in there so I don't lose them. So I'll put the dies in there for the time being. And then I think I might have put too much tape on this, as whether we even find it again. There it is. Oh, and they're all still in. So I'm just going to, and I would suggest that you pop these, like I'm doing, actually into something so that you don't, everything's sticking to me, you don't lose them, okay, because they are teeny, 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 tiny. Okay, so they're in there. We'll put that die in too and put that back in my box. So now it's a case of assembling this. So I'm just going to take my bone folder. There's no need to do any sort of flower forming, and I am literally just going to just shape these a little bit. Doesn't really take much, just one little swipe on each, and I'm going to do that on all of the base parts that I'm using. Oh, now I'm holding it in the middle because those little bits are quite thin, and what you don't want to do is to be pulling, because I'm pulling quite hard with my bone folder. you don't want to be pulling and yanking them off. Okay, so we'll just finish off this one. Okay, and I'm just going to have a quick, not like overly, but just a quick kind of sort of sizes. I've got lots of big ones and then loads of the smaller ones there, right, so that we know what sizes. Now I have demonstrated this die before. I don't know whether it was on a live or on a video, but I do like to use glue gel. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this onto just a piece of card, because glue gel's quite sticky and it just saves me having to clean up underneath, because inevitably this is going to come off. So I've got my black base and I want to make sure I can see my black base. So I'm just going to arrange my next layer so that the black leaves are quite visible, and another little bit in there, and again we'll go, ooh, where should we go? We'll go this way, I think, with this one. Just offset slightly, but so that we can still see the black. And then, excuse me, and then I'm going to put a little bit of a dome of glue, and then we're just going to start putting these in. I'm just going to do these ones with my fingers, just pushing them down. I may not need to, well, I may not use all of them. Probably don't need to use all of them. It's up to you really as to how big, how sort of full you want your poinsettia to be. Okay, and yeah, I bought, it was my mum's birthday this past week, and I always thought poinsettias were just red, but I found a pink one which I thought was lovely. So you don't have to do it in traditional colours, you can do it whatever colour you want. So there we go. So there's my big leaves. I'm not going to put any more of those on. I am going to get a little bit more glue gel, and then I'm going to take some of the slightly smaller ones and we're going to pop those into, flatten that glue gel a little bit. Ooh, push that in. Now, in theory, in reality, if I was doing this at home, I would pre-make these, because they are, you know, this really does need time to dry. But hey ho, it's we will cope with this, and we will put it on in a moment. So those are all the leaves that I'm going to put on, and I've kind of left a little bit of, no, I'm going to put one more. I am going to put one more. I'm going to put it, if it doesn't escape me, in there. There we go. Right. So let's just remove those so that they are out of the way. And now, oh look, you see, look, they've all gone walkies. I am going to get my my little tool that I use for putting embellishment excuse me, embellishments on. So I have a little bit of glue there. I'm not going to add any more. I don't really need much more. And I am literally just going to push those now onto the top. And I think using the cream card gives a really, really nice contrast to the red and the black here. So yeah, keep going. A couple more. It will only stick where the glue is, so I will probably have to leave it at that because I didn't put any more glue. So, right, I'm just going to put that to one side to just allow it a little, a few seconds to try and dry. Put the lid on the glue, and we're going to put our sentiment on to our card. So I'm going to grab this. I've got a piece of card here that I'm going to use to blot off some of the ink. Oh, and I can see that I've got a couple of little bits still in there, so I'm just going to pop those out, and then I'm going to grab hold of it with my tweezers. Oh, and I've decanted a little bit of the glue into a smaller bottle so it's easier to handle. And the blobs out of this is it is a fine nozzle. It's not probably the finest one that's on the market, but it is definitely gives you a lot more control than straight out of the glue pot. And that's mostly because I keep getting the glue pot blocked and then sticking my pokey tool down the end. So the hole in that has got bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, it's probably my own fault. But we're going to put Black Merry Christmas down first to give us a nice little drop shadow. And then we're going to do the cream one in the same way, just little dots of glue. Please excuse me. Hoping that my voice will hold out till the end today. Otherwise I'll be sort of just having to point at things. Let's hope not. There we go. And then I'm going to put this, and then that gives a really nice pop at the front of the cream. Okay, move that to one side. Now, like I said, this is where at home I would have left that to dry. I'm going to just put the lid back on this, otherwise this one's going to clog up on me. So I've got it on this piece of card so I can lift it, this glue. I'm going to put just like on the corner of the mantelpiece here, or the fireplace. And then I'm going to see if we can transfer it off of here. Oh, look at that. There we go. I'm not going to fiddle around with it any more than that because it is still wet and it does still need to dry, so it won't kind of move. But there we go. There is our stepper card. If you just bear with me a moment, I'm just going to disappear off camera for 2 seconds. And I'm just going to get the card that I've made on the video to show you. Here we go. Here's one of them. Just to show you. So this is using the little boy just flat on a card with a background and a happy birthday. So these dies are really versatile. So there will be a video showing you how to use them in this way coming soon. Okay, brilliant. So that's our first make. It looks really impressive. It looks quite complicated, but by doing it this way in a silhouette, it takes out all that worry about having to colour things in and still looks really, really stunning and effective. So we're going to put this one to one side so that it can dry.
Maria said that's a beautiful card.
Oh, thank you very much.
He's going to be using the poinsettia on all of the Christmas cards, or most of the Christmas cards.
Yeah, it's just lovely because I like adding a flower on my cards, but at Christmas it's like, so poinsettias. I mean, I know Dean said at one point I'm using poinsettias on everything.
I did put in the comments that you're a poinsettia themed.
Yes, I am. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Dean. No, thank you for your support. I am just going to have a drink. Please bear with me. I just need to have a quick drink. Okay, right. So let's move all our bits and pieces out of the way for that one so that I'm not getting myself in a mess. Put those things there. Right, so we are now going to make this card, which is the first of the cards with this die set. The Creative Expressions Floral Panels Daisy. So what you get with this, and the little sentiment, and I'm a bit crazy with that one at the moment, is from a first editions Trimcraft set. I think it's called Sentiment Dies. And this Celebrate one is part of it, and I just like the fact that it cuts in. So yeah, that one's probably, Dean will be moaning about me using that one very soon. What I have to put up with, eh? Right, so the die set, there are 5 dies in this set, and put this to one side. We have the 2 panels that cut in, and then we have the 2 rectangles that then allow you to cut them out as separate panels, and then we have this lovely excuse me, little dragonfly, and he cuts absolutely beautifully. I haven't used him on this one, but I think I did on both of the other 2 that we're going to make this afternoon. So For this card, the only die I've used is this one. So I am going to put these ones back onto the magnetic so that I do not lose them. And it would not be a Carole Facebook Live without some Pixie Sparkles. So that is what we're going to do now. I'm just going to put those into the box for the next one so I know where they are. Right. So I am using, or have used, this one. This is a new colour for me. Coral Crush. Really, really lovely. So we're going to make a background, but I'm also going to show you how to colour the ribbon because this ribbon was white. So you can use your Pixie Sparkles and it does, I don't know, it's quite subtle, but it does still shimmer a little bit. So we're going to use our normal technique, I say, for Pixie powders, but I am going to kind of do a 2-for-1, a smooshing. Kind of did it because I was in a bit of a hurry when I was trying to prep things, and actually in the end I thought, oh, I quite like that. Sorry about the state of my little station here. So I've got 2 pieces of card, but I am only going to put Pixie powders onto one. Excuse me. Going to give both of them a little bit of a spritz on one side, and this will help to prevent them curling over. You see already now that one's having been given a bit of moisture, they're both already starting to curl, but because we're going to be putting stuff on the other side, it's going to curl the other way. Now this Coral Crush is really beautiful. What have I got? See, look, this is because I had blue in here earlier. I've got little specks. Such a mucky craft. I really ought to replace my paper in here. Anyway, moving on. So, Pixie Sparkles, for those that know them, beautiful combination of pigment and sparkle. If you've not seen them before, they are absolutely amazing for making backgrounds like this, but you can mix them with water and make paint with them. You can mix them into things. They really are quite versatile. The recommended way of using is to tap, and you can see this one. Some of them don't have an obvious immediate pigment, but this one does. You can see the pigment powder in there straight away. Plus, there is the shimmer in this one, the sparkle in this one is gold. Okay, and again, you know me, I'm a little bit. Let's keep going. So we've got the Pixie powder, and I'm only doing it on this piece, and then I'm going to get my spray, which is here, and we are going to spray. Now you can already see it's starting to go here. Here we go. This is a beautiful colour. It's sort of one, if you like, sort of orange and pink, but not sort of in your face of either. This is a really good one. Now, I am really going for the water. You might think, and that's because what I'm going to do, it's already starting to run, but I don't mind that. A bit more water on that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to smoosh it on top. Okay. And then we end up with 2 much more subtle backgrounds, and I'm just going to drip that off. So now, what I probably would do, because it's a bit too subtle for me, I'll probably leave one subtle, and I'd probably, go back in with a bit more. Ooh, don't take that off. You see the beautiful orange there that we've discovered. I'm just going to put a little bit more on. I promise, just a little. And I'm going to smoosh it again. Let's see what happens with that. There you go. We get a little bit more of effect there. Okay, so it's one of those ones you can play with, but I like the fact that it kind of flattens it all down. It gives you a much more coverage, but you can go back in with, like I've just done there. And as ever, you're never going to get 2 the same. So we're going to put those to one side because they need to dry. And I am going to get out the piece that I have prepared. So you can see I had a little bit more of the sparkle on. You can see where it ran. I don't know if you can catch that line of gold down there, where it ran like that. That's lovely. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm not at the moment worrying about measuring where I'm going. I am just know that I am going to try to fit, I'm not just going to try, I am going to put 3 cuts into this. So don't start here, you need to start reasonably over to one side. So we're going to put this through, excuse me, we're going to put the tape on. Yay, come on, tape. Down this side, hold that. And so this is our first run through. Now, if you can, run a die like this that way through, because there are less cutting points across this way, and so more pressure goes into each cutting point, whereas here the same amount of pressure has to be spread out, so it will cut better if you go this way. Okay, so okay, and that's gonna go through. Okay, so we are going to do this 3 times to get our 3 panels. And with this we are just cutting in. We're not cutting out, we're cutting in. I'm going to turn over. We need to definitely rotate that plate. Okay, now you can see from the back here, you can see the blue ink. You can see that it's cut really well. But be careful when you're releasing this, because this is so intricate and so sort of windy that it can get caught. The bit you want to come out can get caught with the bit that you want to stay in. So just be very careful. Oh, that said, that came out in one piece. Famous last words. Okay, so I need to clean the die. I'm going to put that bit of tape there because we can use that again. I'm going to get my brush. And you can see it's quite large pieces. It's quite nice. It's one of those dies that you think, oh my goodness, there's going to be endless tiny pieces. But actually they come out in almost in one go. So just a little bit there, a little bit there, and there was one bit more there. Okay. Right. So we are now rid of any bits. We're now going to just lie this, make sure I've got it up the right way again. Next to here. Now it's up to you how much of a border you leave in between. It needs, I'd say at least that kind. Otherwise you're going to end up with very weak areas here where you've cut in from one side and from the other. Okay. So, okay, I do this by eye. If you want, you can measure it. You can draw yourself a guideline. I just tend to go by eye because we are going to put a border. If I bring the other one in, we are going to put a border around it, so any sort of differences at the top and bottom will tend to be hidden. Okay, so we use the same bit of tape. Again, it's going to go back into our machine in the same way. And that, and through. So that's, excuse me, that's past 2. And I will clean up. I'm being quite good today. Trying to be anyway, cleaning up as I'm going. That one's coming through. Excuse me, it's probably like I've lost my hands. Up there. Okay, so there's number 2. Let's put that there. Let's go back through. And again, let's see if this one's come out. No, see this one a little bit more caught. We just need to be very careful. So I'm going to run the brush over the front to try and release. There we go. And we'll just gently pull the tape down. Now, some of it has fallen straight out, but you can see like here, this piece is here. Be careful as you pull them out because there's so many little bits. They are cut, they just get hung up on all the intricate parts. Okay, excellent. So it's all out of there. Just need to finish cleaning the die again and then put it back in. It is important to clean your die out because you might think, oh, it's just a little bit, but if you do it too often, it builds up in here and then it won't cut properly. Maybe little bits that it's missing. So, and with these, it's not like hundreds and hundreds of pieces. It's just the odd little bit that gets caught that you need to think about. Okay, so we've done 2 and we're on to our last one. Again, make sure I've got the die up the right way. Leave a reasonable gap. And then, oops, there's the piece of tape. And I'm just going to bring that one slightly down. And tape it. And back through the machine for the third and final time. Okay. Goes. Rid of this rubbish while it's going through. Okay. Right. So this is the last one. Again, you can see how well it's cut. But I am just going to run the brush over the front. And then, yep, lifting off. Gently pull the tape. And I am going to take the time to clean this die because I do need it for one of the other projects that we're going to do. And I'd rather it was clean now than we get to it and realise it's still full of bits. Okay, so we now have our 3 bits done. And we now need to trim it down to the size that we want for our card. Excellent, that's nice. And put that there. Get rid of the mess. Oh no, need to get rid of this bit first. So it's to get caught. Right, so 3 cuts, 3 lovely panels, and this is going to go onto the front of our card. So I think I have my card somewhere. Here we go, here's my card blank. So I need to decide how big I want it. Now I don't, because I want to put a border strip over the top, I don't want to cut this too thick, otherwise my border is not going to fit. So I'm just going to get my my ruler, and I'm not going to draw a whole line, but I'm just going to, as a start, I'm using like the grids, lining that up along the edge of there, and I'm just going to put a little mark top and bottom, and I'm going to do the same at the other end. And then I'm going to offer it up to the card to see whether that is going to work or not. But it's a starting point because at the moment there's a lot of card there that we don't need. Okay. So make sure, because this edge is not necessarily going to be a line. So make sure that you are lining up the 2 marks that you made to cut. Well, I'm thinking that's probably going to be a bit thick, but not to worry, we'll see how we go. Okay. Now, I have already cut the border. The reason being is because for this border I've used some larger square dies. You don't need to, you can do it by hand. So I'm just going to get my border just to see whether I have cut this down far enough. And probably not, so I'm just going to take a slither off each side. It's one of those things that you kind of just have to do it a little bit at a time. Just take a bit of time with it. It's worth it in the end. So we're just going to cut a little bit off of this side as well. There we go. So hopefully now. And all I did for this, like I say, is I took 2 square dies, one slightly bigger than the other. If you haven't got big nesting dies, what you can do is you can cut out the size of the base you want, and then with a ruler draw inside. Now I'm not going to show you that now, but on another card that we're going to do in the Facebook Live, I'm going to show you how to do that to make a border. So don't worry too much about that for the moment. So let's just check again. Right, so now that's nicely covering. So now it's a case of I need to sort my top and bottom. Now you can see, because I do it by eye, I'm not great here, I've kind of gone up and up and up, so we're going to have a little bit showing at either edge. That is going to unfortunately just be the way it is, because I was just too lazy to measure it. Okay, so cut a bit off the top and cut a bit off the bottom, and then hopefully my border will cover the lot. There we go. That will do nicely. Okay, so that's going to go on there. Okay, now you could just stick it on like that, and but what I have done is I wanted it lifted, and I wanted also to be able to see the coral around the edge. So what we're going to do, ooh, good job. I know, not that it would make any difference, we could have done I think we will have to do that way. We'll go for a tent fold. It's fitting better as a tent fold. Okay, we can cope with that. So what I have is another piece of the background that's going to go on here. But if I then put that on there, we've lost that lovely black. So let's make sure this is up the right way. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick, I think I've got a little bit of a straggly bit there. Let's get rid of that with my scissors. Let's just cut that off. First thing I'm going to do, excuse me, is I'm going to stick the border onto here with a little bit of glue. So, excuse me, I'm just going to dab literally around the edge, fairly close, because the border is going to cover it all the way around. You do not need to put any glue on any of the other bits for the moment. We're going to put all the way around so that we can stick the border on here. Until it's lined up. Okay, just going to press down all the way around. So now our border, and you can see, because I didn't measure properly, or didn't measure at all, I've got a little bit showing here, but to be honest with you, I'm not too worried. That bit will get covered up by the ribbon, which I've still got to show you. I forgot about the ribbon. Ooh, that's not good. I'll show you that in a minute. Now, as I said, we no longer have black behind it. So what you need to do is to cut another piece of black that's just slightly smaller. That's just going to stick on there. Okay, so now we just want to put glue all over the back. So I'm going around the border first, the edge, sorry, first. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to go down these strips here. That'll fix those. And then I'm just going to put a dab of glue on all, like, the big bits, the big flowers, the big circly bits. I'm not overly concerned if it's not all stuck down, but I do want it not to be kind of, you know, wiggling around. Okay, so we just dip, 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 dip. Splodge, splodge. I don't even know if splodge is a word, but you get my meaning. Oh, and I missed completely on that one. Let's move that, otherwise I'm going to get glue on the front. There we go. Yeah, and then again over here, just a little bit of glue here and there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to turn that over and stick it on there. I'm going to put this onto here. As long as I can't see my mat through it and it doesn't go over the edge, then I'm in the right place. And then it's easier to push this down onto the die cut than it is to push the die cut down onto here. Okay, so There we go. Just those little bits that's sticking up. So that's now ready to go on there. Okay. So we can stick this bit down. We'll do all of this and then I'll show you how we can use the pixie powders for the ribbon. Sometimes I'm terrible with them. I have jars, Kilner jars full of ribbons, one pretty much for every colour. And I do like my ribbons, but there's always that project where you just haven't got the right shade, and you can colour your ribbons with your distress inks to match whatever you're doing. Now this bit of card is a bit bubbly, so at home what I would do, I would stick this on and then I would put this under something heavy, just to allow it to dry flat, because the card is a little bit bumpy from having been very, very, very wet when I made the background. Okay, right, excuse me. So our background is on there, and now we're going to put this on, but we're going to raise it up, which is why I wanted to have a separate part. So again, having this bit at the back also helps. We can put the glue onto this. Okay, and then that fits onto there. Okay, we'll just put that to one side for a moment, and then we need to find sentiment. Now, bear with me. It's going to annoy me where it's bobbling up. Yeah. At home, when you do these, and when I'm at home, you've got more time, and all those little tricks, just to flatten things out before you move on to the next step. Okay, so I need the sentiment, and I've cut that using the Celebrate die from that set, the Trimcraft set, and I've already cut it out, and I just cut it out of an oddment from the excuse me, from the background. Bear with me, I'm going to have a drink. I do apologise today, ladies and gents. Okay, right, so what I want to do though is I want to back it in black, and not just back it, I kind of want to shape it too. So I'm going to start by sticking it. To be fair, I do not need a piece of card this big, so I'm just going to cut a bit off. That should be plenty. And we can put that over to the side, and I'm going to stick that on. So I'll get my glue and just going to stick that on to the black card a little bit. Just blot it off so we haven't got too much. There we go. So I'm sticking that on, and now you can do this on your trimmer. The trouble with it, particularly with guillotines, not so much if you've got one of the light rotary trimmers. You can probably do it on these are so small that to maneuver them into the right place, it becomes a bit tricky. So I'm going to take my ruler, and it's not going to be exact, but it's good enough. I need a knife. Sorry, that's what I'm looking for. I need my craft knife. Here we go. So I think to use a whole square, and I think that's I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, is it? I don't know. Yes, 1/4 of an inch is too much, so I'm going to go roughly half a square, and I'm literally just gonna. I'm not going to drag too. Oh, okay. I am going to move that. I have so many mats at home that have tape on them where I've done that. I forget and I just start cutting through. Okay, don't do that at home. Let's try again. Luckily, I had only started using it lightly and then realised what I was doing. So, I'm going through lightly. The reason I'm not going really hard is because I don't want to really drag this piece of card and then it slip underneath the ruler. There we go. So that's come away. And then I'm going to do the same the other side, roughly, and I suppose it'd be 1/8 of an inch, wouldn't it? Again, just going over lightly, because I don't want to be dragging and moving it from underneath. There we go. Now, I'm also going to do the same from the tips of the end. And the nice thing about these rulers is because you've got the lines across, you can make sure you're lining it up with one of the sides. So we're going to do that little end to get rid of that. Oop. There we go. And then we're going to do the same the other end. Okay, and then let me just find my lid for that, otherwise that could be dangerous. There. Need to put lids on things, otherwise I'm going to have glue drying up everywhere. Okay, now, because I want it to kind of reflect the shape, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to mark roughly the same distance from, if you can see here, I know I've got my thing upside down, from the V there, and I'm going to put a dot. Okay, and then I'm going to cut in. It isn't going to look quite right because it will go thinner there, but it does the job. It looks makes it look a little bit nicer than just having a square end. Gives it a little bit more interest. So that's that bit there. And then I'm going to get my scissors and I'm going to cut from the corner to that dot, and then I'm going to cut from this corner to the dot, and then yeah, and then you'll cut neater than that. I didn't do that very well. That's using my big scissors. That's what I'm doing. So corner to the dot, and then corner to the dot. Oh, that end was better. So now I have my nice sort of shaped sentiment, and we'll put that on with a little bit of glue gel as well. Put that on. And then we'll look at the ribbon and how easy it is to colour the ribbon. Put that in there. Okay. There. Side. Get rid of my bits of paper. Pencil away. And I'm going to find my piece of white ribbon. There we go. And I'm going to get my mat back, because I'm going to make a little bit of a mess. Over that way. So I need my coral crush. What did I do with my coral? Oh, there it is. I hid it on there. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit on there. It's not a lot. Don't need a lot, but I probably put a bit more. Okay, and then I am going, now I'm going to end up with very messy hands, and that'll be like that for the rest of the Facebook Live. So I should have done this one at the end, but not to worry. I'm going to make that wet. Don't need much. Can always add, and all I'm going to do is that, and I am going to need more. I can see that, but that's okay. So here we go. The start of the messy hands. So I'm going to make more. Oh, that's probably too much. Oh dear. Although, is there such thing as too much Pixie Sparkles? I'm going to go from up here, otherwise it's going to go. Oh, missed. Aim. Where's that going? Oh, there we go. Oh dear. There we go. There we go. That's better. And you can see that you can get it all over your hands. So you see that you get some bits where you get the gold, and even when it's dry you do get that shimmer. Now bear with me while I just dry my hands. So believe me, it does come off, because they were like this the other day when I was doing it, but it does come off. So you literally just put that aside to dry, and it really does not take very long to dry, and then you've got a beautiful ribbon that matches your project. So I'm going to put that with the ones I did earlier, and I'm just going to clean my board, my area. Pretty sure this is not, it's not spraying where I think it's spraying. Or is it just, oh, and there goes the lid. No, come back, lid. There we go. Okay, so that's clean. Yay, yay. Right, so once your ribbon is done, then I've used it with some black, because obviously those are the colours we've used. And I like to do nice double bows. And you can see I'm now getting Pixie Sparkle all over the black ribbon too, because it's all on my hands. So everything's going to be covered in coral blush. And then, yeah, I think this is my thing with cards. I love a big bow. Obviously not for men's cards. I like a bit of twine for men's cards, but I do like a bow. There we go. There. So, a really effective card. It's used just one of the 5 dies in that collection, that set. One thing of pixie powders, white card and black card. Really, really minimal amount of things that you need. And it doesn't even need to be a Pixie Sparkle background. It could be inked. It could even just be your pattern papers. I mean, in this kind of thing, because it's so small, you could even use those papers that you're not overly, you know, a fan of. They always come in some in the pads, don't they? And you'll be able to sort of like use them for that. But yeah, so this one's ended up being a tenfold. This one wasn't, but yeah, basically the same thing. So that's way 1 with our dies. So I'm going to put that one. I am going to put the wet one over there just so that it dries. Put this one down. And then I'm going to get the box for our next one. So our next one, and I do apologise because I'm going to have orange fingers now the whole way through. And Pixie Sparkles everywhere. Right, okay. The next one that we are going to do is this one. An S-fold card, or some people call it a reverse Z, or a fold back, either way. So what we're using for this one, I'm going to return that die into the set. We are using this one. We are not using this one for the actual card. However, I will show you that you, because we're going to make this border this time, I'm going to show you how to do it. You will need to cut one out like this. It does help. It can be out of scrap paper, it can be out of anything, but it just does help. So let's put the dies to one side. So just remind ourselves, we're using the floral panels, the daisy, and this time we're using this die. The last one we used this, and this one's just using this die. Oh, and the dragonfly. Oh, phew! Woo. I'd hidden the dragonfly. That could have been terrible. So I am using for this white stamping card, and this is Foundation Creative Expressions Foundation's Pearl card, and the colour is called Steel. Now you might wonder, well, what's this? Now that we're going to create using this. So this is Cosmic Shimmer Lustre Polish, and this one is Snow and Ice, and it literally just makes your card into a pearly card. It's literally like, almost like a silver pearlized glitter effect, and it's really, really simple. So I'm going to move that to one side because that's our base card that we're going to fold in a moment. Don't want to be making a mess of the wrong pieces. So just going to show you how to use this. So the top unscrews and the polish is in it. It's quite a gel kind of consistency. It's not a cream or like a paste. It's very much a gel. And then the brush, I say the brush, it's a sponge, sorry, is in here, in there. Now this works fine, but you can also use it, for example, through a stencil with a hard stencil brush, or you could use it with a spatula through a stencil. It doesn't have to be this. This is quite soft, so it's quite squidgy. If you want to put them over the top of stencils, I would suggest perhaps something else a little bit harder than this, because it has a tendency to squidge into all the bits. That said, it's a really great applicator. Can you see what I mean by it being quite gel-like? Jelly, almost. It's great for this. And that's literally all you need to do. Nothing else. It just goes on over the top like that. And it doesn't take too long to dry. I have already got one ready, but this one would probably be ready if we needed it. Anyway, so that's made our... And you can already see a nice little orange fingerprint. So I do apologise. Things are going to be a little bit tainted. I didn't think that through, really, did I? Should have done that. The pixie powder one at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to put that to one side. The reason it's curling is just because of the moisture in the Lustre polish. We're going to put that over there, and I am just going to clean up this before we start the next part. Okay, so we're going to score our card. And just bear with me a minute so that I make sure I'm folding this the right way. Otherwise, the way my brain's going at the moment, I'll be scoring it in the wrong places. So, with most, probably all my base cards, I usually start with an A4. I do sometimes buy the packs, but I tend to make my own. So this is an A4 piece of white stamping card, and all I've done is I've just cut it down to 6 inches along the length. So it's now 6 inches, and we're going to put it onto our scoring board. Get my scoring tool, and we are going to score. I'm just double checking so I get this right, at 2 7/8 there. And we are going to score, I'm going to turn it over because the fold was going to go the other way, at 5 7/8. There, okay. 5 7/8 is a measurement I don't generally forget, because that is usually roughly half of the length of an A4. So we're going to bend that one that way, and just line it up there, and then this one comes back over the top. Okay, it isn't quite, you can, faff around with the measurements if you really want to make it exact, but for me that's enough. Okay, so that's our base card made. Now, I decided that not to faff around with the inside. I quite like a big area of white. I know some people don't. So I've gone ahead and I've cut my steel and a plain bit of white for there. And I've also cut my piece there. And we are now going to create the other pieces. So that's all ready and waiting for us. So I just realised I've just created a lovely piece of card with polish and forgotten that I actually do need to cut the die. So I'm just going to grab myself another piece there. That's fine. Don't need a whole piece. There we go. So I don't want to use the edge die because I want it a little bit wider, because if you can see on this card, whereas with the other one, I had wanted the border to completely hide it. Here, I kind of want the border to be inside of the out. Does that make sense? You can see a little bit here and a little bit on the outside. Please do ask questions if I sound like I'm talking complete weird stuff. In my head, it makes sense, but it might not to you. Right, so I'm going to put it not too close to the edge, so it gives me enough room to maneuver. So I need some tape. We are going to take this down, and we are going to put that there and up there. Okay, and I'm going to get my board here and here. Oh, slippery flip top. Rid of that loose, and that's going to go through the machine. Now, this die has some lovely embossing, and I found that you don't need to run it through again to get the texture on it. In fact, I found that when I did try to do that, the pressure was too much, and it actually caused it to tear at the bottom. So I am not going to emboss it. If your machine doesn't have as much pressure, in fact, you can see from the back already. You can see that the and that's my dirty fingers rubbing over it. You can see that it's already embossed, and you can see how cleanly it's cut too. So I'm going to remove the tape. Maybe we'll use that machine that's just moved. We're going to take the tape off. There we go. Last bit. Off. Okay. And you can see that that's all fallen out. And you can see how, just with that one pass, how beautifully you can see the texture on there, how well that's already embossed. You don't need to do it again. Now I am just going to clean this off because I do need it for the last of our things in a bit. So let's put that back with the rest of the dies in here. Okay, and we'll clean up the rubbish. Okay, right. So now we need to cut a border around this. So I'm going to do it on the reverse so that you can't see the pencil lines. Now, if I recall rightly, and I am just going to double check, I think I did. Yeah, we'll kind of go with that, I think. I pretty much did half an inch. So what I'm doing is I am lining up my ruler, the line of my ruler, along the inside edge of where it's cut out. And I am going to find a pencil, and I am going to just draw a line down. Because it's on the back, it doesn't matter because it won't be seen. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to do the same on this edge. Line up on my ruler. And this is the Crafter's Companion ruler, and but Tim Holtz does a similar one. I really like these ones that have got the squares in there because it really, really does help when you are trying to line things up like this. And then there. And then we're going to do there. Okay. Now am I going to do this with my ruler? No, I'm going to try and do this one on the machine. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a machine you just go around and it cuts? Right, so yeah, not bad. Not bad. Line that one up. Oh, up. And again, this might be like the one we did earlier, or I did earlier, where I might just have to go in and just do a little bit more of a slice off the edge, but it's somewhere to start. Come on, go through. Go through. Okay. The thing I'm going to check is, oh, that's right, it was a bit cut. It does. Okay, so it fits the width of my card that I've already cut, but not the length. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a little trim at the bottom and a little trim at the top. Okay. And let's see, does it fit? No. Yeah, that'll do. Probably do with a little bit more off the bottom. I am faffing now. I am faffing. There we go. Okay. Now, those bits. So we have these bits, and oh, not the right way, these bits here. And what I need to do now is to create this border. Now this is a little bit fiddly, but you know, you don't have to do one. I just like that effect. So what I have got, one side for a minute. What I have got is a piece of the card like we created, and then on the back, what I have done, and I said earlier, it helps to have one of these already cut out. Now, if you are when you get new dies, I don't know if you're like me, you test cut them anyway. So if you test cut it and then just pop it in the pack, then you've got this already. So what I did was I laid this down. In fact, I laid it down face front because that will go that way. So I've laid it down face front. And what I did, you can just about make out my pencil marks from on the inside of the cut edge. Okay, you see those there. So that's the internal part of there. Okay, now what we want is for this border to sit just away from that. So I've drawn my first lines, and I think it was about 1/8 of an inch. I think I went 8. Yeah, so about 1/8 of an inch away. So I've drawn my first set of lines. Okay, and then my second set of lines, I've drawn 1/4 of an inch from there. Okay, so what I have now, in theory, is a 1/4 inch border. Okay, so I'm going to move my my inking mat off, because the middle of this, unless I say that, unless you've got one of those trimmers that you can lift, so the cutter only goes down when you want it, and then you can do it on a trimmer. But if you don't, then you're going to need, like me, to cut this by hand. So I'm going to use this ruler, and I am going to find my knife, which I put somewhere safe. There it is. Okay, so now the other thing I tend to do when I'm cutting is the bit that I want to keep, I tend to have under my ruler, because knives tend to slip, and well, they do for me anyway, and it's better if it slips into the bit that you don't want than to slip into the bit that you want to keep. It doesn't always work. I'm a bit ham-fisted with this, but we're going to go. So I'm going to cut from here to here, and a bit like before, it looks like I need a new blade, but a bit like before, I'm just going to go gently. I'm not kind of like really forcing it, and I'm going to go a couple of times, because what I don't want to do, this is a coated cardstock, and the last layer that we're going through is that coating on the front. And I know when I did the one on the sample, I did tear the edge a little bit. We want to be as careful as we can. So again, turn it round, and I'm going to do the same here. So from here to here. So we're cutting out this internal bit. Now, if on the previous card you didn't, like me, have large square dies, then this is the way you can do it. It's exactly the same way, creating your borders. And I tend to do this as well. I don't do it so much, but I used to gut card a lot. And for those of you that know that term, you understand. If you don't, what it means is I always used to be quite tight with my card. So, for example, if I show you here, this bit of card here, well, all that bit in the middle is not being seen. So I would cut the middle of it out to use on something else, and that's called gutting. Depends how precious the card is. If it's a really lovely bit of card and I haven't got much left, then I do tend to gut it. So our next side here, we're going to again, a little bit at a time. You'll feel when you're through There we go. I felt that there. I don't think it's through at the top though. Yeah, we're through. Okay. And then this piece here. And this is when I lift it, I find that my board was dirty and everything's got ink on it on the other side. Not to worry. Okay. Okay. Now, it's not coming out. And there's a reason for that, because I am terrible about getting into the corners. So once I'm done, all I do is I just go back with my knife and get right into the corner, and then it will pop out. So that one, yeah, that one. That's all it is. It's just I'm a little bit short of the corners on each one. Yep, that one, and then this one here. Oh, let's line it up so we're cutting straight. There we go. So we have our inner part cut out. There we go, let's put that away. And then I'm going to now try to use the guillotine to cut the outer bits. Now, if you draw long enough lines, then you can kind of see where they are on the edges. I think that's okay. That's that one. Good. And then put that one up there. And in there. That one. And then that one. And then our last edge. Okay, so we now have our lovely little border. And these bits, particularly these bigger bits, I would not throw away. That bit I'm probably going to use in a minute. These bits I wouldn't throw away. They're great for like sentiments. So now, moment of truth. Does it fit like we hoped? Okay. Now, the reason it doesn't fit lengthwise is my own fault. And that's because I chopped it off, didn't I? I probably should have made this bit a bit bigger. But it does the job that I was hoping on either side. So can you see you've got the plain white. It's upside down, I'm sorry. The plain white on the inside, you've got the sparkle, and then you've got the plain white on the outside. And that's the effect I was going for. What I could do, well, I'm not going to. I could chop a little bit off of the top and bottom, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it like that and just have it showing down the sides. So that's there. Now, you also see that on mine here, I had the sparkly again. Part of me quite likes that with the steel, but anyway, I'll carry on with the way I did. So one of these bits that we've just discarded, we're going to get back, because we're going to stick this behind. We're just going to find a bit that's going to fit. That bit going to fit. That bit will fit. Okay. Is it wide enough? Just need to check that I probably wouldn't go for that. There's just not quite enough either side. So I probably will go for this bit and just cut it down slightly. Yeah, I'm just going to cut a little bit off the edge. You won't see this because this is going on the back. There we go. That'll do it. That'll do it. Okay, so we're going to stick that on the back with some glue. Glue would be good. We'll go with the big one because we won't, because we've got little intricate bits, haven't we? Okay, so just like the way we stuck the back bit onto the previous card, we're going to do the same. So this is face down. I'm not going all the way out to the edge. This is what we're focusing on. So I'm going around just on the outside of where it's cut in. Okay, and then on my lovely daisies here, and a little bit on the leaves. so that they stick down. And on the leaves here. Okay, and then I am going to make sure that this is sparkly side down because it's the sparkly side you want to see. So I'm going to put that down and then I'm going to turn it over and oh, I'm not all stuck. Oh look, sorry, orange fingers again. I do apologise. Mucky, mucky, mucky. Right, so that's that done. Now on this one, I did attempt to raise this bit of the border up. And to be honest with you, it's okay. It's a little bit lumpy bumpy, so I'm probably going to stick this one straight down. The reason being, it's such a fine, thin bit. And I did do it with the glue gel. Literally, the width of the glue gel is the width of that. And so any slight squidge and it all came out. So for this one, we're going to make this bit flat and then raise this bit up. Whereas before I made that bit flush with that and raised this. I can also see that I've got a little bit of a jagged edge on my card there. So I'm just going to... There. Sorry. Yeah, so we do it that way this time. If you've got those really, 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 really tiny foam pads, you could do it if you have the will to do it, because that would take you quite a long time. Or if you've got foam pad tape that you can cut into little strips as well, that would work. But I just think I was a little over ambitious trying to 3D this little bit because it was so thin. Okay, so we're going to just position this so we know it's going to go off the top and the bottom. But we're looking to get a little bit of white either side. There we go, that's what we want. Okay, let's just put that to one side for the moment. And we're going to put this together, and then we've got to sort out the sentiment. And this gorgeous little dragonfly has to be one of the most detailed, teeny dies that I've seen in a very long time. But I'm going to put that back on because it's a big area, so I'm going to go for the big glue if it's going to play ball. Let's see. It has been so far. There we go. So this bit goes in here. I mean, I didn't, but looking at it now, you could also put you could put the other panel in there, that, you know, the one that we used on the first card. You could cut that out and put that flat in there to add a little bit more interest when you open the card. So I always tend to, I make a card and then when I start analysing, I was going, oh, I should have done that. Oh, and I could have done that. You see my arrows? I have a tendency to do that. I'll do it. And sometimes, because these are not totally square because of the way you cut the A4, sometimes I cut the bit of card and then I think, why is it not fitting? So for example, look, it's not going to fit that way. So I kind of put the arrows on to remind myself that it's that way up. I really do need that at times, particularly if I'm doing a lot of prep work. Keeps my brain the right way up as well. Okay, so now if you don't like the expanse of black there, you could make this a sparkly card and then have a white sentiment and a white dragonfly instead of a sparkly. You could emboss it with an embossing folder. There are other things you can do to add on to this one. So this pearl card is lovely. I love this colour. Steel. I didn't want to go for black. I didn't want it to be a very harsh one, and this pearl card is just beautiful. Okay, so we said we're going to raise this up this time. So I need some glue gel. Ooh, that was my finger that cracked there. Okay, there we go. enough glue gel on there, and put that there. And I'm going to put the ribbon on while I think about it too, and then we'll sort out the birthday and the happy birthday. The birthday and the happy birthday. No, we won't. The happy birthday and the dragonfly is what we will sort out. Then, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue gel, and I'm just going to gently push that because I don't want to push it down too far. So we're going to put that over to the side, and put that over to the side too. And we need, excuse me, we need the dragonfly die, and that comes in this set, the ones with the daisy panels, and then the happy birthday die is from the trim craft set, the same one where we had the, you know, oh yeah, that's right, don't move a wet card. Sorry, you can't see that, but it's the same die set that the Celebrate came from, the trim craft sentiment dies. Excuse me. So we're going to cut, I've already, you can see, cut them out of the steel. And can you, I don't know if you can see on the camera, if I can, just the detail of the imprint of that. And that is just from one cut through. It's beautiful. It's not just a flat, because sometimes with these little dies you just get a flat shape. So we are going to use, ooh, if I can unstick myself, let's put that lid back on. We're going to use a little strip of the pearly card we made. We'll just clean out that die. A couple of little bits left in it. So we're going to use the happy birthday, and we're going to use the little dragonfly, and we're going to cut those at the same time. We'll get some tape. Excuse me. I'm going to have a drink while this is going through the Gemini, I think. So, sorry, just a momentary, like, complete lapse there what I was doing. So, let's put that through, and I will grab a drink. Whoop. Okay, that's me just skidding into the guillotine that's on the floor. Okay. There we go. So, both dies are cut nice and cleanly. Rid of that little bit. Nice sparkly tape off of the thing, and these will just drop out. There we go. Again, beautiful detail on that dragonfly. Just going to run the brush over this one, start releasing it, and there we go. There we go. That last little Y. Don't be tempted to yank them, because that little Y on the end is quite delicate. Let's just clean that off before we start. I'll put that in there with that, so I know where that is, and the dragonfly as well, so I know where that one is. So we now have 2 happy birthdays and the 2 dragonflies, and we're just going to glue those down. Now, like I said, you could have gone and the other way and put the sort of the Lustre polish card here, and then used white card for these. I quite like the plain white there. So yeah, okay. Tweezers. There they are. Tweezers. Right, so we're going to start. I'm also just going to grab a scrap piece of card here to block things on, and I'm going to put the lid on this one so that it doesn't dry up, and my little one out here. Okay. Oop, don't lose. Don't lose the pin. It's sticking to me. I'm not going to be able to lose the pin. Okay. I'm going to start with the steel pearl one, and a bit gunky at the end. Oh, come on. There we go. Right. So we're going to just dab, Dib dab dob. You can tell my brain's gone, can't you? Oh, fuzzy cold brain I've got. There we go. So we're just going to put that one at the bottom here. And then this one. The Lustre polishes, and there's all sorts, there's opaline polishes, I think, as well. If you just need a small amount of a pearly type of card, they're perfect, rather than, you know, cutting into a big sheet. There we go. And then first dragonfly, the little grey one, grey steel one. Put him there. And then the little white one to go on top. There we go. There we go. A nice little drop shadow on our beautiful dragonfly. So far then we've had 2 different ways of using the die set. The info, isn't it? Sorry. Oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. So we've got 2 cards and 2 different ways. This card just uses this, and we've just used the cut-in. This card uses just the cut-in part of this and the dragonfly. And so now what we're going to do, we're going to make a final card with this die set, and we're going to use all of the dies. So we're going to create little cut-out panels that we're then going to layer on. Okay, so let's just reset. Those are the wet ones that dry. Let me put that in the box and move that to the side. And here we go. Here's our final one. So this is the card that we are going to make. Now this one, excuse me, this one is quite a straightforward one. Not doing any fancy techniques or any inking or creating things. We're just going to use card and paper. It's the sort of thing that you probably have in your stash. So put that to the side. I'm just making sure I've got the Celebrate die. It's just that was one thing I was thinking, where is that one? I'll put that over there just in case. And we'll move that. We don't need that for the moment. Okay. So I have just used some brown card from my stash. The reason I went with this is because of this paper. I decided I rather liked that paper, and that paper is from this paper pad, this 12 by 12 paper pad, Woodland Friends, part of the excuse me, part of the Nature's Garden set from Crafter's Companion. And this has got some beautiful little papers that go with a few of the other dies, but I just liked this paper, which is this one here. Okay, so I have a piece of brown card as ever. You know, I've taken an A4 piece and I've cut it down, and it looks like I've gone just over 6 inches, but you know, roughly 6 inches. So I am going to score this in half, and I'm pretty sure that this won't score at 5 7/8. I'm going to do it anyway and trim it, just because I think this card is an odd size. Yeah, well, I'm going to go for it. We're going to go for it and see. I'm pretty sure that's we've got a little bit of a leading edge, but that's okay. I can cope with that. I can cope with that. So I'm just going to scroll that down. So that's our base card. Really straightforward. And then again, I have guess what? I already made one. Look. So So I wonder what that bit of card was for. We'll find out in a minute and see whether I've made a bit of a boob. Okay, so I have already cut a piece of Foundations Ivory card. Yeah, and a piece of this card from the Woodland pack, like so. So that's our base card. Okay. Now, what I need is some Foundations Ivory card. Bear with me a moment. I will get some. And we are going to cut out these two panels. So I need, let's get rid of that. Excuse me. Now, because we are cutting them out, we can put them reasonably close together. I wouldn't put them totally close together. Make sure, as with the other cards, that these dies are running down your machine and not across. Okay. I am also, put the die around the right way would help. I am also going to, while we're running it through, I am going to, let me tuck those down first and then I'll put the other dies on. Otherwise I'll move something before I get there. So let's take that. And what I'm going to do, is see, because it's moved already, I'm going to tape bottom there, tape top of that, and then the bottom as well. Okay, I also want a dragonfly in cream, and I want this Celebrate die, this one from the Trimcraft set in cream. So I'm going to put those two on to cut at the same time. Oh, tape them down, otherwise they're going to go for a little wander. Okay, so those are taped down, and we're going to put that through our machine. Let's get our plates. In my plates. Okay. We'll wait.
Right, yeah, we're back on.
Phew! You've momentarily lost us, or we momentarily lost you, probably more like. So anyway, that's gone through the machine. I've cut both of the panels and I've cut the two dies, so we're just going to remove them. We didn't miss anything other than the machine. So we're just going to remove these. So as you see now, whereas before we cut the panels into a piece of card, this time we've cut them out. I'm just going to put that to one side. I'm going to get them all off the card first and then remove them as we go. So that's come off. Take that bit of tape. Okay, let's put those in there. Put that one to one side as well. We'll remove that in a moment. And then our little Celebrate. Oh, put that to one side there. Okay. Right. Let's remove all of our little bits and pieces. So we have our Celebrate die. Okay. Oh, come out. There we go. So we have our Celebrate. I am going to keep putting them in there, otherwise I shall lose them. And we have our little dragonfly again. There we go. And we have, come up quite nicely, our lovely daisy die, daisy panel with our beautiful embossed image. And I'm just going to pick that out because there's only a couple of bits. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, one more. There we go. That's that bit done. And then this is the more fiddly one. This is the one where you want to take the time, because now not only do you have lots of sort sort of fine intricate bits here, you only have a fine edge around the side. So just take your time. It will come out because it is all cut beautifully. It's just, it is so fine. You don't want to be going at it like a bull in a china shop and ripping any bits. There you go. See, all came out. Talk proper English. It all has all come out properly. So we're just gonna clean that die. There we go. Just a couple of bits left. Poke it all in. Okay, so those are all our pieces cut. The other bits I have already prepared, ready for us to assemble our card. There we go. Right, so I have my base card. I have my 2 panels. I have already cut two panels. Now these two I've cut from the same paper, but I did use these dies. Sorry, these ones. These the outside dies of these, because I don't want to see this outside of the panel. It's going to be behind the panel and then you'll have the cream against the brown. Okay, so those are exactly the same size as the panel, so they are going to be stuck on the back before they are put onto the brown card. So that's that there. I have a little brown dragonfly to go with that one, and then I've got the 2 bits to mount our celebrate die on. Okay, so of all the cards, this is kind of the most straightforward matte layer type of card. We're going to do these in the same way as when we assembled the others. So turn it over, and then with the glue. Now, because this fits exactly, then you want to sort of make sure it's going to the edge of these. Yep. Preferably actually on the die cut rather than on the mat. Okay, so a little bit, my fingers in it, a little bit on the leaves just to make sure they're going to stick. Put my hand on the pin in a minute. Just a little bit on those, and then a bit more of a squidge on the back of that. Now, because these fit exactly, I do lay them down, but then I do pick them up just to make sure I don't need to do any wiggling. I'll lay it down, but before I press too hard, I just turn it to the front to see if I just need to slide it around while the glue's still wet before I then properly adhere it. So that's that one. Okay, same for this one. This one's a little bit more intricate. So glue all the way around the edge of the panel. Strip of it this time. We've got a steady hand. Right, and then like we did when we did the original Celebrate card, a bit of glue on all the big flowers and the sort of big areas that you can get a blob of glue onto. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I've gone quiet. Don't know why my brain just switched off there for a tiny second. Right, so like before, line this up as best you can from the back, and then just flip it over to the front, because I knew I hadn't quite got that on, and give it a little bit of a slide to make sure that it's all covered over. There we go. Right, so These then just stick straight down onto those, so let's do that. In fact, I am going to get the bigger glue rather than wasting the, not wasting, but using up that stuff on the fine end. Okay, so let's just give that more glue at a quicker rate. And then that's going to sit on there. Same on this one. And with this, you can, it's one of those ones, whatever colour scheme. I just happen to love neutrals, browns, creams. That's really my kind of thing. So here we go. I haven't got an arrow this way is up this time, so this could end up laying down on the wrong way up, but we'll see. That looks like it's the right way. I have left quite a very small border on that one, and then that should fit. Good. Oh, I did on that one. Look, this way up. There we go. Okie dokie. So right, the last bit, we'll assemble that in a minute. The last bit is just this. Now, you can, if like I did on the first card, the black card, you can sort of fiddle around and make this look more like a sort of a banner. But I decided not to on this one. I just went for a straight mat and layer. So what I did make sure though was that the bit of paper that I had for this wasn't one of the busy patterny bits that would get a little bit sort of confusing underneath. So I went for a bit that where the block colour, and I didn't block that off, did I? Too much glue. Not to worry, it dries clear. And then that bit on to there. Okay, and we are now ready to assemble. Get our little fine one out again. No, we do need that in a moment. Just bear with me. I need some glue gel. That's what I need. I need that for the dragonfly. In fact, I am going to do that first. I'm going to put the dragonfly on so that I'm not trying to press the dragonfly down onto something that's on soft glue gel. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So this beautiful, beautiful little detailed dragonfly. A little bit of glue on the back of him. A tiny little bit on the tail. And where did I put him? I put on that leaf. Just a little bit higher this time. I don't know if it's him, could be her. There we go. On. And then same with a little cream one just to offset. I am going to blot that one. There's quite a lot on the tail. Okay, right. So now I don't need to try and put that on when I'm when it's already got glue gel underneath. So let's put the this in for the moment. Yeah. Those games can fit their shapes in the hole. There we go. Okay, right, glue gel. Make sure we got that the right way. Let's get the glue gel going. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm sorry. I think my brain has finally gone. Oh, there we go. So that's nice and raised. I think I'm going to run out, but I have another one. That's good. One. Oh my God. Just about. Let's put the lid back on that. And hopefully this one working. And we can finish. Yay. Glue gel. Yeah. And there. Ooh. And oh, one there, and then our sentiment's going to sit across there. So we need glue gel here for the height, like here. But we don't really need it there. We just need a bit of something that's going to stick on like that. Now I've done that too close to the edge, but that's okay. I can move that. There we go. Okay, and then I decided not to go for a bow on this card because I just felt there wasn't enough room. So I've got a few little flat back pearls. These are my other obsession. I have these in a gazillion colours. Just 3. Oh, my glue's gone all bubbly. Oh look, I just would like glue, not a bubble, thank you. Okay, bubble. There we go, and that's what we need. Clean that off. And put that in, and then my little pencil. Just trying to turn them over so they're the right way up, but they're sticking to my fingers. 1. Oh goodness. Put it on the right way, woman. 1, 2. Oh yeah. And 3. Excellent. Okay. Ooh. So there we go. So I pull these ones back in. We have made 3 different styles of cards, different sort of techniques, all with the same beautiful daisy panels that cut in or cut out. And then right back at the beginning, we made our little stepper card with our Gemini Christmas morning edgeables. So 4 projects. Hopefully something for everybody and you've enjoyed that today. Please, if you do have any questions about anything that I have done this afternoon, stick them into the comments and then we will have a look and I will do my best to help. Thank you ever so much for joining me this afternoon, or thank you if you have tuned in later and watched it on replay. Very much appreciated. Good night. Good night. That's where my brain's at. Good night.